Welcome to Indian River Habitat for Humanity. We are pleased that you wish to explore the possibilities of owning a Habitat home. This presentation has been prepared for you to learn more about the Habitat organization, from why we are the leading builder of homes for low to moderate income families in the county, to what are the essential requirements for you to become a Habitat homeowner. At the conclusion, you will have the opportunity of asking any remaining questions you might have. Habitat for Humanity was founded in 1976 and is an ecumenical Christian ministry that works in over 100 countries around the world. It is dedicated to providing safe and affordable housing for the many thousands of families who are living in poor, crowded, and unsanitary conditions. While Habitat operates on Christian principles, applicants of all faiths and races are welcome into our program as long as they meet our basic requirements. Also, it is worthwhile mentioning that as an equal opportunity lender, Habitat must meet all the federal requirements against discrimination. There are over 1,700 independent affiliates of Habitat in the United States, of which Indian River Habitat is one. Our county's affiliate was founded in 1991 by several volunteers who recognized the need for safe, affordable housing for many families in Indian River County who were living in substandard apartments and houses. In a very short amount of time, the Habitat for Humanity model of empowering low-income families to build their own homes in partnership with volunteers and donors in this community became a great success. Since our inception, our local Habitat has favorably impacted the lives of hundreds of families in our area. We are currently building in Fellsmere and the Oslo Park communities and will shortly have more new homes in Gifford. Participants in the program have the choice of buying in several locations. Consideration for their proximity to family and employment is taken into account. The option in regard to living in a regular neighborhood or a Habitat community is based on the availability and is at the discretion of Habitat management, but the homeowner's preference is also considered. Habitat for Humanity is a hand up and not a handout for low-income families interested in obtaining a home. What this means is we do not give away homes, rather we assist deserving families to build and buy a house that they can afford. Our program is a long-term housing solution, very different than renting. As a homeowner, you assume the responsibilities for legally owning and maintaining your own home. By purchasing a home, you are making a financial investment in your future by paying a mortgage each month rather than giving money to a landlord. Actually, by buying a home, you're becoming your own landlord and will need to make decisions regarding the care of your property on a regular basis. Eventually, you will own the home free and clear without a financial obligation to anyone. Additional benefits of home ownership include the pride of owning your own home and more stability and security for your family. Experience has shown us that home ownership also improves the well-being and scholastic performance of children. It is important to recognize, however, that you are signing a legal contract to repay a loan to Habitat for the price of your home, and you will pay that in what we call a monthly mortgage payment. Habitat is able to make home ownership an affordable option for low-income families by selling the homes with a loan that has no interest charges. Also, unlike commercial builders, Habitat does not exist to make a profit. Our objective is to cover our costs and to have sufficient funds to build more homes for needy families. Another one of the ways that we are able to make home ownership so affordable is with the use of volunteer labor. As a future homeowner, you will be working on your own home, and you will be working right alongside volunteers who give of their time to help make people's dreams of owning their own home come true. Our wonderful volunteers come from local churches, schools, and neighborhood communities, sometimes individually and sometimes in groups. During the winter months, we have crews of retirees that come to Florida to work. They are also volunteers called caravanners who travel in their RVs and stay with us for several weeks. In the spring, we have college students who spend their vacation time working on homes. Anyone can be a volunteer. No construction experience is needed, just a positive attitude and a willingness to help. When needed, we contract with professionals to do specialized tasks such as air conditioning, plumbing, and drywall. How are Habitat homes paid for? Some of the money comes from generous donors in our community. The sale of goods in our home center store contributes enough revenue to build 8 homes annually. Sometimes we can obtain funds from government to help defray the cost of infrastructure, such as roads, sewer, and utilities. Then more funding comes from the existing homeowners as they repay Habitat through their monthly mortgage payments. So, what does a Habitat home look like? We have 5 different models, of which this is one. Our houses are over 1,000 square feet and are usually 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. Larger homes are designed to meet the needs of larger families. In Oslo, we most often build concrete block homes, as it will allow our homeowners lower rates on their insurance. In Fellsmere, the homes are wood-framed, which is slightly more cost-effective for Habitat. Insurance is not as costly in that area, as it is further away from the ocean. In either instance, there is no compromise in features or quality. To ensure that what we build is of the highest standards, we employ a full-time construction staff that works on the job site and in our warehouse. All of our homes are built to Miami-Dade standards to meet durability and hurricane protection requirements. Each home passes 22 different inspections before a certificate of occupancy is issued by the county. Every home is provided with window protection panels to be used in the event of a hurricane. The quality of our construction was demonstrated in the 2004-2005 hurricanes, where we had no losses and had only minor repairs on a few homes. Habitat builds simple, decent, affordable homes. Beyond ensuring that they are functional, particular attention is also given to making them attractive. The homes include air conditioning and ceiling fans in every room. A shed for storage of a lawnmower, paint, and tools. All houses come with new appliances, such as a stove, refrigerator, washer, and dryer. We even have solar hot water heaters now to save our homeowners on their electricity bill. While the houses are standard with regard to layout and materials, we give the home buyer choices whenever possible. These options include the dining room chandelier, the species of plants and trees, color selections on exterior paint, choices of kitchen cabinets and countertops, and roof shingles to coordinate with exterior paint color. Sometimes Habitat has foreclosure homes or reconditioned homes available for sale. In addition to the fact that they are immediately available for occupancy, these may present significant opportunities in price, location, and extra features. They are totally refurbished and brought to a new condition before being sold. As a point of information, over 85% of the homes sold in the United States have had prior owners. The Habitat Selection Committee chooses needy families from a pool of applicants using a set of criteria. There are 7 basic requirements which I will spell out for you, and afterwards we will elaborate on each of these points as they are important for you to understand. Firstly, one must demonstrate a need for simple, decent, and affordable housing. Secondly, the family must meet our income guidelines. If you have higher income, you don't need Habitat. If your earnings are too low, you won't be able to afford the responsibility of owning a home. Thirdly, there must be an ability to repay and maintain a home. Not only must you pay the mortgage, but you also maintain it with insurance, repairs, utilities, etc. Fourthly, the family must desire to partner with Habitat. Fifthly, the adults must be willing to complete mandatory training. Then you must also be a local resident or worker. And finally, the family must perform a required amount of work, which is referred to as sweat equity. The need requirement can be demonstrated in several different ways. Living in a home or apartment that has safety or health issues. Secondly, crowded living conditions such as sleeping on couches and floor with no privacy. Thirdly, housing that is not affordable due to low income or exorbitant rent. And finally, the inability to obtain a conventional mortgage from a bank. Habitat guidelines are taken from federal government figures and establish an acceptable income range based on family size. These are some examples of income guidelines. If the income is below the range of your family, it is too low and would indicate that your family would be unable to pay off the mortgage loan and would therefore not qualify. If the income is above the range, it would indicate that your family has sufficient resources to obtain a mortgage from a lending institution such as a bank, and that also would prevent you from qualifying. Your monthly payment will include property taxes, insurance, termite inspection, and homeowner association fees, as well as the actual house payment. Fortunately, you will still find that in most cases, a Habitat home is more affordable than paying rent. After you move in, we estimate your mortgage payment to be around $450, and this is what makes up that amount. All of these calculations are based on the selling price of the home. The selling price of the home at the time of completion is determined by the appraisal provided by a local independent appraiser based on market conditions. A mortgage duration of 20, 25, or 30 years will be determined to meet the objective of arriving at a monthly payment of approximately $450. The longer the loan period, the smaller the monthly payment. However, it is in everyone's interest to pay off the loan in the shortest amount of time. A Habitat mortgage is set up differently than a conventional mortgage through a bank, because, in actuality, all you eventually pay back is the cost of the land and materials that Habitat put into the home. As long as the homeowner stays in the home, the family never has to pay back the silent mortgage. If they do decide to move, they sell the home for what the current value is and pay off whatever is left on the mortgage and the down payment with the money made from the sale. As mentioned earlier, the most important element is the 0% interest on the mortgage for the entire life of the loan. Depending on your credit score, interest rates will vary, but these are some good examples of what typical interest rates are today. If interest were to be included in your monthly loan payment, it would take it from $450 to about $800. But since you normally pay all the interest charges at the beginning of a loan period, a 6% interest rate on a 20-year mortgage would eventually result in $165,000 cost to the homeowner. The most important fact to remember from this presentation is that nowhere else in the world, except at Habitat, can you finance a home for 0% interest. While working through the program, we require home buyers to save $1,700. We will even open a savings account at a local bank for our applicants to save this money. But it is your account and your money. If for some reason you must leave the program, the money goes with you. This cash is designated for the first year's homeowner's insurance up front, as well as anything else that you might need to be able to actually move into your home, such as water and electricity deposits. We require that our families be willing to partner with Habitat for Humanity throughout the entire process. That means you do your part to make sure that the process goes smoothly and quickly, such as getting in the required paperwork on time and properly filling it out. It also means that the family will make themselves available for home visits and interviews. The family must be willing to consistently save the previously mentioned $1,700 towards closing costs. They must be paying off the outstanding debts that they may have, and they have to be willing to accept a home where we are currently building or offering for sale. The fourth requirement is to attend classes on home ownership. Habitat wants you to be a successful homeowner. We are well aware that there are many bumps on the road ahead. Therefore, we invest time and resources to prepare you for any difficulties that may arise once you move into your home. For your information, here is just a sampling of the subjects so you get an idea of what sort of training we provide. As you can see, all the subject matter has practical applications for a person who has never owned a home. These classes are held at our office and training center in the evening hours, so it does not interfere with your workday. A side benefit is that these classes are a good way to get to know other people in the program who will eventually be your neighbors. The fifth requirement is that home buyers must be local residents. The applicant must have lived or worked in Indian River County for the past year. The individual must be a legal resident of the United States, not necessarily a citizen, but must have at least a green card, and the family must have rented a place of their own for at least a year. Last but not least of the requirements, all must perform the required amount of sweat equity. Sweat equity hours are the time you put in working on your home and other home buyers' homes. These sweat equity hours are considered to be your down payment on your home instead of cash. We know that people who come to us have more time than money. It is your initial investment in what will be your home for many years to come. Hours can be completed either on the construction site, the office, or in the home center store, depending on your ability and health. Every adult that will be living in the Habitat home, and that means everyone over 18 years of age, is required to do sweat equity. We keep track of your hours by having you sign in on a timesheet at the job site and having a supervisor initial that you were there. For a one-adult household, we require 300 hours of sweat equity. The home buyer can recruit friends and family to help them with up to half of their hours. If no friends and family are available, however, they are required to complete all the hours on their own. We strongly encourage home buyers to ask friends, family, co-workers, or members of their faith group to help with their hours. Again, construction experience isn't necessary, just a willingness to help and learn. 200 hours are required for each additional adult in the family, and up to half of these can be completed by friends and family. In order to be assigned a building lot and begin construction on their home, an applicant must have completed 60% of their sweat equity hours and have 60% of their $1,700 saved. This comes out to 90 hours completed by the home buyer, 90 completed by friends and family, and $1,020 in the bank. Before reaching the 60% mark, home buyers doing sweat equity are helping other families who are further along in their hours and are working on their own homes. If, after careful consideration, you can answer yes to the following question, is this right for me? Then we should move on to see how you can go about becoming a Habitat home buyer. In a few moments, someone from the Family Service staff will meet with you to answer any other questions you may have and to conduct a preliminary review to determine whether or not you qualify. The process will begin by establishing your need for housing. As mentioned earlier, the need for housing can be anything from being unable to afford your current rent, living in overcrowded situations, or living in substandard conditions, to being turned down by a bank for a conventional mortgage loan. The next step is the financial aspect of your application. We need to see if you meet our income guidelines. In this calculation, we will consider any verifiable income of family members that are 18 years of age or older. This can be wages from your full or part-time job, disability or Social Security, or court-ordered child support. We cannot accept anything earned under the table or food stamps. You must also not have liquid assets valued at more than $10,000. Your credit reputation is also a determining part in your ability to handle a mortgage. Applicants must have less than $2,000 in outstanding non-medical debt. Based on the information you provide, we will order your credit report and discuss it with you. You will be provided with an application which is to be completed on the computer. Every item on the application must be filled out completely, including names, addresses with zip codes, and phone numbers. The list of required documentation to support the application must be provided by you in order for your application to be considered. Once all your paperwork is in order, the family interviewed, and the references verified, your application will be reviewed by the selection committee. A favorable recommendation by the committee will bring your application to the Board of Directors for final approval. We are pleased to have you consider Habitat for Humanity as an opportunity for a major change in your life and that of your family. If you would like to join the over 275 Habitat families in Indian River County, I suggest that we get started now. On the other hand, it may be that you do not feel you qualify at this time, so let's talk. The Family Selection Coordinator will be able to give you a plan for what is needed to meet our guidelines. And even though now might not be the right time, with just a few simple actions, it is possible that you can qualify in the not-too-distant future.